So in the last class, we were discussing that how the Brahman to be as my lakshya. And once the purpose is clear, then meditation becomes easier. And who is that Atma, the Brahman? That which is self-effulgent and also who witnesses of everything. And of course, always manifests in the intellect, in the state of intellect, means vijnanamaya koshe iti. And of course, understanding this Atman, that which is different from not truth, means different from unreal, which is not truth, then only the person starts contemplating upon in such a way so that the contemplation on one's own self becomes easier. In the process, the person will be able to eliminate, or all the thoughts will be dropped. Instead of eliminating thoughts, better to use the word, all the thoughts will get dropped. So in the 381, we have discussed this, if I am right. Okay, I hope you remember. Okay, if you don't remember, it's up to your problem, not my problem. However, let us read the 382. I think this also we saw, 382 also we have seen. Okay, fantastic. That means if that is the case, so enam anichaya vruttya pratyatma shunyaya. Okay, very good. So if that is this thing, so there should be continuously one should dwell upon or contemplate upon one's own self. And while contemplating, make sure that the thought should be ani achinnaya vrittya, continuous process. There should not be any break. And also make sure pratyantara shunyaya, that in between when there is a gap, so in that gap also there should not be any other intervention, any other thoughts to get in and dilute the thinking. And this is also, this when the person starts dwelling upon this, remember, that person will be able to understand one's own self. Now let us read again next verse. Ātmānaṃ drūಢi kurvan ahamādishu santyajyan udasinataya teshu tishtet sputaghatadivat. So here it says, the point is, if we look at, generally, wherever we try to identify ourselves with reference to the object of identification, our thinking, our behavior, our approach changes. And interestingly, if we look at very carefully, always we have identification with reference to what? Ahamadishu. So starting with ego. So whenever we identify, whenever any identification, any association that happens in our day-to-day life, always it starts from ahankara. And those who are going to encourage my ahankara, those who are going to, nourish my ahankara, or whatever nourishes my ahankara, supports my ahankara, I would like to associate with them. So all my association, all my attachment, all my identification is directly or indirectly related to only ahankara. So this is the natural process. So when this happens, automatically the person is always intense. there is concern. What is going to happen next? What is going to happen next? That the worries and anxieties becomes more strong in me when I am strongly associated with my ahankara. That's why he puts it a little differently here. So atra, here, it's not like that, not a common way. So instead of getting attached to aham which is natural, but here the person has to, what should to do? This attachment, the identification, ātmānaṃ drudhīkurvan iti. So let the person try to strengthen the identification with the self, not with ahankara, etc. Then he says, not only that, how is it possible? He says, ahamadisu santyajyan udasinataya. That's a beautiful point. So we have to also look at udasinataya. This is the point to be understood. Udasinataya means as though the person is not concerned, is not bothered about anything. That's why there are mats called udasina mat. So there are ashrams called udasina mat. In fact, they have Mahamandaleshwara and all these things. So whether they have got udasinatvam or not, that is, don't ask me, okay? That's another point. So each one has got anything. Each one has got their own limitations. That's not our point. So udasina means being indifferent. Because generally, when a person is being beaten up, what is beaten up means when the ahankara is not able to get up. So there is no hope of ahankara to stand. You understand? That is called literally, Swamiji, I am being beaten up in my life. So I sometimes ask, oh, did anybody beat up? No, Swamiji, you don't understand. I am being beaten up. I said, no, sorry, I am a tube light person. You understand tube light? Okay? Expression in Indian expression is called tube light. Okay? So tube light means those days, this long bulb was were there. Okay? Tube type bulb. So that takes a little time to burn. Because that choke will be that, then finally, okay? So it takes time for me to understand. That is called, we call tube light buddhi. Tube light thinking. So we have an expression in India. Okay? So are you a tube light? Means you take time. And also sometimes proudly, I remember somebody told me long back, like, when I was teenager, are you a tube light? I said, yes. Once I understand, it stays with me. Not like any other bulb, okay? Gives beautiful light, but remember, once it is on, it continues. Anyway, that has got another aspect. So here is said that when the person say carefully that I am being beaten up, sometimes as a tube light, I don't understand. Or even if I understand, I pretend to be tube light, that's the point. Not halogen, okay? Those days halogen means you understand. Because those days halogen, because nowadays halogen, there is big difference. Lot of heat, and after 2-3 hours, automatically it will cool down. It will get switched off to cool down. Unlike nowadays, okay? However, coming to the point here, I am being beaten up means the ahankara is not able to stand up, is not able to get up. So that means all the corners, all the things have been taken care, or you can say the ahankara is being cornered in such a way, that's a better language. The ahankara is being cornered in such a way, poor fellow is not able to move. You understand? And wherever it moves, it gets scratched. So that is called me being beaten up in life. Is it correct? So this me being beaten up happens because of strong ahankara. Oh, Swamiji, that means I should not have any ahankara. Who says you should not have any ahankara? You must have ahankara. At least if you have ahankara, you will know what is the limitation of ahankara. So having strong ahankara, then growing out of it is called understanding. So coming to the point here, as it is natural for me to get identified with my ahankara etc., not with one's own self. But here it says, only one can strengthen association or identification with one's own self when the person is able to santyajyan, renouncing. So how to renounce? Not out of bitterness, not because I am being beaten up, that's why I stretched. When I am being beaten up, you understand this prasava vairagyam, samsana vairagyam. Okay? Love failure. Somebody said, I will make sure I will never love anybody, nor I will allow my child to love. Okay? And somebody said, look, I am so fed up in my life with this reference to all this. I'll make sure neither I will get married, nor I will allow my child to get married. Okay, this nowadays it can happen. Earlier days it was never happened, okay? Because this is called prasava vairagya, this is called samsana vairagya. You are so fed up, after some time again, you will continue the way you are. So that's why he says, you need to have udasinataya. Udasinamtam should be there. Means being indifferent. The person who understands there is no love, there is no hatred for ahankara and etc. Teshu tishthetu tisheshu. So one when starts living in that, then what happens? Sputa ghatadi, but very nicely. How? You are seeing this, you should really, very nicely. One must live with ahankara. It's a beautiful point. But without being attached to it, nor having any hatred. And how is it? Teshu tishtet, while being associated with them, being identified with them. It is exact like sputa ghatadipat. He uses very nice word. Sputa ghatadipat, not ordinary ghatadipat. Ghatadipat means pot, etc. But he uses sputa means, broken pot. Suppose there is a broken pot. Do you have any attachment? Okay. In fact, if somebody wants to take it, let it take it. If nobody wants to not take it, let it be there. Means you understand, this just occupies the space, but you don't have that much insecurity with reference to that. Or you don't derive any pleasure or security from that. So when you come to a conclusion, when you have understanding that you don't derive any security or pleasure from anybody or any object, what will happen to that person to you? Definitely, if that person is good, if there is good, if not there, also good. Don't say better, okay? That's also bad. If the person is there, good. If not there, also equally good. So that is what the person has to live. That's what, please understand, a meditative person is not critical of anything or anybody. A contemplative person is never critical of anything or anybody, but is always indifferent to anything and everybody. So being critical and being indifferent is entirely different two things altogether. So the more I am indifferent, it's like, like a child sometimes you can observe. Child is indifferent to the stranger. Some child cries differently. If other person smiles, child will smile back. If the other person does not smile, doesn't bother him, child will make a long face, no botheration at all. You understand? So how the child reciprocates, this is a small example. Of course, there are a lot of subjectivity, no doubt in it. Like that, the person, a contemplative person, living with everything, does not live with anything. That's why we say, Padma Patra Eva Ambhasa. So in the water, how the lotus leaf remains. Being in the water, untouched by water. And remember, without water also, the leaf cannot grow. But while being in the water, is not touched by water. What a beautiful way of looking at life. So being with people, being with objects, being with your house, you are not there either. But you have to be there. That's why what is to be done, I do. What is not to be done, eat, sleep. Okay, let us look at the next verse. Visuddhamantakaranam swarupe nivesya sakshina vabodhamatre saneh shaneh nischalatam upānayan purnam swamevanu bilokaye tatah. So here nicely says that Vishuddham antakarana swarupe. So how? Nibesya sakshini avabodha matre. That too, sani sanaihi. Remember, antakarana. So antakarana means the instrument, inner instrument. So inner instrument here is mainly mind, and all the sense organs also comes. And that which is a Visuddham. So that means Vishuddham means, literal meaning is called purified, but that Antakaranam, that inner instrument, when listens to me, is called Vishuddham. And when it does not listen to me, is called Ashuddham. So impure, pure. So what is to be done? He says, look, this Antakarana, this inner instrument, Sakshini Nivesya. So one need to fix. One need to make the target. One need to associate. One need to dwell upon. Where? On Sakshi. So Sakshini means that which is the witness. And how is it? Says very nicely, that Sakshini is called Ababodha Matre. So Ababodha Matre, here we need to look at Sakshi, which is the witness, with the help of knowledge. And how? Then he says, Sani Sani. Because of this, what happens? Very nicely. Saneshchalai nischalatam iti. You will discover slowly the mind will become nischala. This inner organs, inner instruments will become quiet, very calm and quiet. So once this happens, then from that stillness, from that calmness, upānayan purnam swam eva anu bilokaye tatah. Then what one should do? Very nicely, that slowly stretch that calmness, quietude to the purnam, and that which is swam eva. So purnam means the fullness, the completeness, unbrokenness. And that is nothing but one's own self, alone. And that is what is to be done. Then only anu bilokayet, keep observing, keep understanding, keep really, you want to word very carefully, keep experiencing carefully. But don't use this word experience without understanding or without bringing the context. If you bring the context, absolutely no problem. If you do not bring the context, experiencing Swamiji, finally you dismissed all the experience, now again finally you are coming back to the experience, okay? Please Swamiji, what is this all about it? That's why each word to be used very carefully and contextually. Please read the next verse. देहेन्द्रिय प्राणमनो अहमादिभिः स्वाज्ञान क्लुप्तैः अखिलैरुपाधिभिः विमुक्तमात्मानमखण्डरूपं पूर्णं महाकाशमिवावलोकयेत्. Very good. I have to search the papers, okay? This is what my problem is. Deha indriya prana mana ahamadibhi. And very nicely says that these are what is them? So ajnana kluptah they are. So if you look at the body, indriya sense organs, prana, vital energy, manaha, mind, of course along with also memory you can add, or buddhi also, ahamadibhihi, so ahankara, etc. They are called as swa ajnana klupta. So they are the projection of one's own ignorance. This is a beautiful point to look at first, okay? So this body, mind complex in short, is nothing but the projection of my ignorance. And interestingly, all these are nothing, again are upādhibhiḥ. So they are the conditionings. Like we say very nicely that there is a crystal. So when there is a crystal, so next to crystal, you keep a red cloth. Now when you keep the red cloth next to the crystal, now what you will see? You won't see the crystal. You will consider the crystal as a ruby. So ruby means a stone, red color, okay? That's why I brought it, okay? So that means crystal, here if you look at, gets colored by the cloth. Now the cloth becomes upādhi. Conditioning, in English we put it. And interestingly, this body-mind complex, in short, or deha, indriya, prana, mana, ahamadibhihi, all are upādhis, all are conditionings. So when my body is associated with, when I am associated with body, automatically I behave in one way. When I am associated with prana, I behave entirely differently. When I associate with mind, I am different. So each association, each upādhi creates a different impact in me. Now what is need to be done? He says beautifully that one need to vimuktam. So one need to free one's own self. From what? From all these conditionings. Can you see this point? So only when one literally freeze this. That's why freedom is not running away. Freedom is not escaping. But freedom is all about making myself available for me. How much I can make myself available for myself. Because I am always occupied. And from my childhood, I am busy in getting occupied. Can you see this point? And the more I am occupied, the more I am running away from myself. Like many people, they want to work and they are very proud also. They say, we are workaholic. So why you are workaholic? Because I cannot face. And especially, I'll give you a beautiful example, okay? Especially men, okay? I am not meaning any one of you, okay? Please, don't misunderstand me. Means indirectly I am saying, I am hinting you people, okay? After especially 40s, but nowadays 30-35 itself, okay? Earlier it was 40-45. After 40-45, in our time, really when we were teenagers, after 50, no man wants to stay at home. Even if on Saturday, Sunday, they want to go to the office. And wife will shout, what is, some work is pending, so that's why I'm going. Government job, I have seen many cases, government job, they will just get out from home. Some pending work is there, what can I do? So somehow they escape. Then I used to ask them, why? Say, look, here nobody listens, neither she listens, nor children listens, anyone, nobody listens. So whether we are there or not makes no difference. So if I go out, at least I have my freedom, you understand? And when I come back, at least I get a cup of tea proper time, the moment I come back. So some attention I get when I come back only. So better to go out to get some attention. And nowadays, don't ask me. And especially this corona has destroyed. Everybody looks desperately. When all these rules are going to be lifted so that I can go to the office to celebrate my independence. And some people say, Swamiji, I want to celebrate my bachelorhood for some time. Hey, don't make to listen to any of your wife or husband, okay? Please make clear. However, coming back to the point, joke apart. So here he says that, here this making one's own self free from all this conditioning, and once you make it, what is to be done? Let the person starts understanding ātmānaṃ, that which is akhanda rupam purnam, avalokayet, may one try to see, try to understand. May one spend time to discover one's own self. Now what is that one's own self? That which is akhanda rupam. So the akhanda rupam means there is no division. So I am not a divided person either. Small things, no. That one thing, non-duality. And interestingly, Purnam, infinite. How is it? Suppose a person asks, how is it? Mahakasham eva. It is like the great space. So how the space is all pervasive. The vastness. There is no end, there is no beginning either. But appears as though the horizon ends somewhere. So also me.